Before you drop $500 to join in the hype, here are my 10 things you need to know about Ashes of Creation Alpha 1 before you drop the big bucks. This game is in a true alpha state, and by true alpha I don't mean it's close to any pre-release beta test that you've played in recent years or being close to an early access game that you've purchased that ended up fully releasing in 3 to 4 months or something like that. I mean, this is a real, true to the meaning, alpha test. Nothing is anywhere near its finished state, polish is right out the window. You're dealing with the bare bones of systems, combat, skills, animations, quests, enemy AI. I hope you're seeing where I'm going with this. Do not purchase the founder pack thinking you're going to hop in and have a good time, because despite me genuinely enjoying most of the time I've had with the alpha tests in recent months, the simple fact is that for the majority of players and people interested in Ashes, this is the worst way for you to experience it. Evaluate your expectations, check out videos and streams, stay up to date with development streams from Intrepid themselves every month or so, and keep your hype alive, but be realistic with yourself. The game is nowhere near being ready for consumer hands. Probably somewhere between 2 to 3 years off from release, and even the creative director Stephen Sharif has said, don't buy into play. So guys, you have been warned. Ashes of Creation is aiming to have a total of 64 classes for full release. These classes are formed up by choosing your starting archetype and then picking another one once you reach level 25. At this point in the alpha, only 3 archetypes are available, the mage, cleric and tank, and the level cap is set to 15, so your secondary archetype choice is yet to be an option. The skills and abilities we've seen so far in Ashes are pretty cool, not just all in terms of spell effects, but also the abilities themselves are quite interesting. However, everything we have currently is subject to change and nowhere near close to complete. The entire weapon tree ability skills are missing, the paths are quite flat, boring and need balancing, and the same can be said for most of the archetype abilities in terms of their damage, mana cost and more. The node system is functional, but still very bare bones. One of the most appealing features of Ashes is the interesting node system that reacts and evolves based on nearby players' behaviors and contributions to the world. Now, I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but this isn't alpha, so sometimes nodes can flat out disappear, be reset from their various levels of progress all the way back to square one. You get the point. It's cool whilst it works and when you're there to help progress it, but in its current state, that's pretty much as far as it goes. Just like the node system, player housing is absent for now. Another big feature of Ashes players are excited for is player housing. Sadly, this isn't in operation in the alpha test at the moment, and as far as I'm aware, we won't have it for some time to come. Quests, quests, quests. The current implementation of quests in Ashes is an interesting and refreshing approach, but will certainly not be for everybody. There is a serious lack of hand-holding which can be jarring at first and slowly becomes one of the more appealing things about the game, or at least it is for me at the moment. And exploration is at the heart of Ashes. It's how you find new monsters, new quests, towns, dungeons, the list goes on. So the quests are scattered all over the map, sometimes with understandable purpose and others without any reason or rhyme. This is all part of the aim for Ashes to bring back the community feel to MMO, and at the moment the alpha achieves this by having at least 30% of the quests be designed for players to party up and tackle head on. Of course there are solo options, XP mob grinds, AoE grinds, the slow methodical approach to tackling high level quests, but the bread and butter is really with the party play. The UI. I have to say, one of my least favorite things in the alpha is the UI, which thankfully we know is not a reflection of the finished article at all. Most of the time it feels like the UI gets in the way for me, bugs out a little bit of course being alpha is alpha, but can also straight up lead you in the wrong direction of a quest sometimes, which after 15 minutes of running, you realize you're in the wrong part of the world, can really suck. The map. So the map we're playing with in alpha is called Alpha Island. It's the devs' way of testing as many different biomes, dungeon layouts, cave systems, enemy types, and crafting nodes as possible. Now the map looks deceptively big and it feels like it too when you're traversing on foot or mount, but after 2 or 3 playtests and after progress wipes, you're eventually going to yearn for something new, which is something you shouldn't really be expecting too much of as an alpha tester this early on in development. Crafting and item stats are as bare bones can get. The current implementation of crafting is rough and rudimentary. You buy the respective harvesting item for a gathering node, which requires higher level versions of these harvest items for higher level gathering nodes, which then allows you to craft a few different levels of weapons, armor, and consumables. All of these are at a very basic state, and the time spent gathering to craft is somewhat wasted, as the stats on the items at the moment for the most part are quite basic, and in some ways the best example of how early in development we are. The stats themselves come across as a little bit of an alphabet spaghetti, with core stats affecting secondary stats that overall don't actually seem to be that exciting or impactful. I'll hold my hands up and say I've yet to actually try out any epic items myself, but from my experience so far makes me feel like I've got the gist of it for the time being. Bring the bug spray. I think by now you've got the message, but just in case, this is alpha. Testing is the real endgame right now. Bugs pop up, get reported and squished, only for another one to arise elsewhere, and that is the name of the game for now. If progress wipes, server crashes, bugged quests, unkillable monsters, falling through the floor, lag spikes, and any other of the many unfortunate woes of an alpha tester sound too awful, and this is not for you, save your money and your time and wait for beta to come. And that's all of my 10 need to knows for Ashes of Creation Alpha 1. I hope this has been useful for anyone who's thinking about joining me and the rest of the brave Alpha 1 testers. You really need to think it through before spending $500. Of course, you do you and more power to you, but hopefully I've left you a little more informed with how things are in Alpha 1. It's the end of the video. Like and subscribe to see more content, ring the bell to never miss a video, and if you'd like to support the channel further, you can become a member for cheaper than a Twitch sub with all the benefits plus more. Take care, and hopefully I'll see you next time.